Hi, this is Wishop, and because I had time, I thought I'd sneak in a quick Halloween All Souls Samhain reading with one of my favorite decks for this kind of thing, which is, I hope you can see it, the Ghosts and Spirits Tarot by Lisa Hunt. It's a really interesting deck, which I've used before in readings, but I like how there really is a story with every card that makes it fit, or at least complement traditional tarot meanings, but also adds a unique spin. So I thought we would just do a 3-card reading. The stuff in the skies, if you're interested in astrology at all, is kind of intense right now, but also very productive. Jupiter is conjunct the sun in Scorpio, so in the very early degrees of Scorpio. So we're starting to get a light on some deep, dark issues within ourselves and also in others. And also, we have one thing right now as I'm doing this reading. Saturn is in Sagittarius. It's conjunct the moon. I'm looking over at my ephemeris here. It's conjunct the moon and Black Moon Lilith. So right now as I do this, there's this emotional connection between authoritarianism and anti-authoritarianism, creating that push-pull of energy, which we've, I think, been seeing play out for a while. There is a sense of reassertion of personal sovereignty, but also the need to know what that means in relationship to others. So at this time of year, when, as the proverb goes, the veil is thin, I think it's a time to look at our beloved ones who've passed away, but also the many ancestors whose names you don't know. Generations back, you're related to millions of people who struggled and survived and loved. And you're also probably related, if you're open to the idea, to other spiritual guides who are also timeless and are also part of the unseen world. In my view, the unseen world is just as diverse and interesting as the one we're in. And one of the touch points where we meet it is along the line of our ancestors or people who have been important to us who have passed away. So I thought I'd ask, what can we learn from them? What can they take from us? How can we have a more productive now by looking into the past or into the timeless unseen realms? So might be kind of a big metaphysical question, but let's see what the cards have to say. So the central card, this is interesting, is the Wheel of Fortune. If you can see this, let me try and focus it better. The Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And in this deck, you can see we have this pregnant, hopefully you can see this pregnant looking specter. So it's actually interesting because in this deck, it's almost a mirror of the World card. So I want to read you about it here. Hungry ghosts from the Hindu tradition are condemned to wander the earth until good karma is restored. Their punishment reflects the sins incurred to rebalance the karmic wheel. They resemble burnt skeletal trees with distended bellies, and they roam around in a state of extreme hunger and thirst. They have an inability to fill a void. So, well, this seems sort of spooky, which kind of fits the time period. This is in reverse. So in the upright, where we're talking about a wheel of karma that runs forever and a void that can never be filled with these hungry ghosts. In the reverse, it symbolizes to me that at least one aspect or one sector of your wheel has stopped turning. I don't think that means stagnation. I think this means that letting go quality, that there is a piece of your karmic wheel that is being satisfied, a karmic burden lifted. And that is something that we deal frequently with our ancestors or with thoughts of our past or spiritual guides about. How do I free myself from thoughts, emotions, traumas that may be holding me back in patterns that I can't escape, or I feel like I can't escape? And this seems to signal, unlike maybe a traditional Wheel of Fortune where we think, oh, it's bad luck to be in reverse. In this case, because it's the hungry ghosts, I think it's good luck to be in reverse because it symbolizes a hunger filled, a need satisfied to leave something behind or to conclude a certain kind of karmic exercise that you've been involved in. And perhaps your ancestors have been helping you with that. And a way that you might know that would be if you suddenly think of memories from people who have passed on, kind of out of nowhere maybe, but they seem to relate to your current circumstances. You may visit them in dreams, or you might hear songs that you used to share together, and you can get a feeling that they are encouraging you towards some kind of development or even some recognition. Perhaps you've already moved along, but you just haven't realized it yet, and you're being encouraged to assess yourself where you are right now. So let's look at what we have here. This would be kind of the past position. Okay, so the past position, or the position of what I would call the internal factors, is the Three of Pentacles. And this is interesting because we think of the Three of Pentacles. Let me see if I can get this focused better. It's kind of the brightness is a bit of a problem, but the Three of Pentacles, you can see these sort of ghosts with these pentacles, and the typical Three of Pentacles is very much a working, collaborating kind of card. And so I want to read you what this is. A lot of these I know, but not this one. Come on, Pentacles. Here we go. Okay, these are the manes, which I really like. These are the ghosts and guardians of burial sites and monuments. They were considered good spirits and were referred to as demones, or the divine dead. So I know when you hear demones, you go, what? Or you might, but that's part of where we get that name, because they were the beloved dead, and this is the name that would have been used, for example, in the Roman world. So each year during the Feast of Parentalia, named after parents, grave sites were visited and offerings were made to honor the dead. Roman tombstones were often inscribed with the letters DM, demones, to officiate the spirits. This luminous image exemplifies energy born from the seeds of creative thinking. The three spirits balance their decorative discs, the different designs representing individual contribution to a team effort. So this, in a way, confirms for me the first card is that your beloveds have been working with you on something, potentially in some way. In the background, who you might think of as your beloved dead or your parents. And as I said, these don't have to be people you know by name. You may not know your family of blood lineage very well at all, but they existed and they're still interested in you. And also, as I said, you have your spiritual family. You have the lines which have adopted you, and you can even think of, good friends that you have who are like family to you. So there's so many threads of contributing factors in your past that if you feel alone in the now, just ask in a sort of open-hearted way, who else is thinking of you? Because there are people whose thoughts are for your goodness, for your health, and for your development. And so this sort of seems to signal that we are getting this assistance with this karmic release, work on our behalf, which is happening in the unseen world. And, you know, our gratitude and our remembering the beloved ancestors, whether it's just thinking of them or visiting a gravesite, or just, as I said, it can be a simple thought on their behalf that you wish them well in whatever their journeys are, because some of them, at least in my view, might be going back into incarnations. Some of them are serving as guides. Some of them are being elevated or changed to do different kinds of functions. We're all on this amazing developmental journey, and so are your ancestors. So wishing them well on their journey, just as they wish you well on yours, is really all you need to do to foster that communication and that help, I guess I would say. So this is definitely pointing to help and the availability of communication if you're interested in that. And you might not be interested in that, but it still can be a warm thought to think someone out there is thinking of you and wishing you well, even on days, as I said, when you may feel alone or friendless. Your ancestors and the people in your spiritual family are still there cheering for you. So hopefully during this time of year, you can really feel that. So here's this card. Oh, look at this. Okay, interesting. This is the Hanged Man. So here you can see we have this sort of skeleton above, and we've got this dangling figure here below, and there's sort of lightning and tree roots. And let me get you this, let me get you all the good background information on this. Okay. The Hanged Man here represents the undead, or a vampire, the restless deceased who rise and wander the earth, bloodthirsty creatures who seek out mortals and drain their life essence before retreating to the earthly tomb. In turn, victims succumb to the deadly bite, acquire immortality, and join the cycle of insatiable bloodlust. The vampire is ensnared in the branches of an old tree, caught between the world of conscious thought and the unconscious realm of shadows and dreams. So what I'm thinking of here, rather than the notion specifically of becoming a vampire, which might be your bag, I don't know, but what I'm seeing here is this idea, which is similar to the idea of the Hanged Man in traditional tarot, where you are between worlds. And in the traditional tarot, as the man hangs upside down, he becomes enlightened. He is able to see and understand things that he didn't before. Odin comes back from his time on the tree with the runes of understanding, which are only gained after that visit upside down, so to speak. So this represents that if you choose to work with the ancestors at this time, if that appeals to you, and not if it doesn't, but if it feels like the right time for you, or an area of your spiritual practice that you haven't paid much attention to now, you can be drawing inspiration by being between worlds, in a sense. And that when we think about being between worlds and communicating with angels or animal guides, your ancestors should not necessarily be neglected in that consideration of people who will help and who will support and who will look out for you. So have a great Samhain, Halloween, All Souls, and rock on with your bad selves.